Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today we have Kevin Crenshaw, who is an online fitness coach who has built 99% of his business to target online clientele. So instead of meeting with people at the local gym, he's helping people all over the place achieve their goals. And he's done this through leveraging platforms such as Instagram to attract his ideal clients. So we're going to dive in and learn how he's helping people get their fit on leveraging platforms such as Instagram. So Kevin, welcome.
Hell yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. So how in the world did you get into the world of fitness and you decided like, oh, I've got to just market myself online instead of just talking to the dudes at the gym like, hey, need a spot?
Yeah, totally. So, just to give a little information on like my history with my career history, I started out actually in network marketing, and so that was all online, right? I was super shy, didn't talk to people in person, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go all in with online. At least I can hide behind a computer. And then I became a group fitness instructor, which, then I kind of broke the shyness part, but I still found a love for doing things online. And at the time, I was really struggling with things, working online. I spent a lot of time with not a lot of return. I did things the wrong way for so long, and it actually, I was holding on to that dream of making it happen without looking at reality. And I actually was in a really bad spot. Most of last year, I was actually homeless and still trying to do things online. I was set in stone as I was going to freaking work. And then I got a slap of reality and looked in the mirror and was like, you know what? I need to really change this. And so I went into all-out hustle mode. I picked up 4 jobs. I was a personal trainer, group fitness instructor. That's when I launched my online business. I quit the network marketing stuff, and I started doing things my own way. And I was a waiter at a local bar and restaurant. So I was working 18 hours a day straight, sleeping 4 hours a night, with no break days for about 2 months. And that was able to, I had all the money I went from not having any money and all the time freedom in the world to having all the money and no time freedom. And that really was like, okay, I need to take a step back. I can have both. I want the money and the time freedom, and I know I have a gift to help people, but I don't need to kill myself in order to do it. And so that's really when I started taking my online business seriously. I created an LLC and I created my own workout program and stuff. And I already had built up this following from years of doing it before, and so I knew so much. And I was like, you know what, it's time to go all in into it. So I quit all of my jobs except for the personal training just because I still the group fitness, just because I still love it. So I quit personal training because it was trading hours for dollars. I quit the serving thing because that wasn't making me happy anyway. But I gave myself a month to really grind and match my income online, and I was able to do it. And that leads us to today where I'm almost 100% online. I have a few personal training clients just here and there, but I have the best time freedom ever. If I want to go out, like if I want to travel, I can. I just get subs for my classes and I move my personal training clients, that few that I have, and I work when I want, as much as I want, and it's freaking phenomenal. I have people literally all over the world: London, Australia, Canada, Mexico, US, and they're reaching their goals. And I've met some amazing people through Instagram, and that's basically where I do most of my business is through Instagram, and my following is on Instagram. I've got 35,000 followers across 2 different accounts, and it's been one hell of a ride. So that's kind of my history with things.
Oh no, that's awesome, because so many people, they never have that realization of that concept of time freedom and money freedom. But you think about how many people, all they do is work, but then they could be like, I just don't have the time to do anything. Well, you still have the same 24 hours. It's about leverage, and you figure out how to create leverage so you can still do the things you love and not feel like you're just chained to a desk or to handing out drinks or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
it changes everything dynamically. So how did you decide upon leveraging Instagram of all the different platforms? Like, this looks good.
Yeah, totally. So I'm actually, it's part of my background. I'm an artist. I was actually I won a full ride to the Art Institute out in Nashville for one single painting that I did, and turned it down because I wanted to pursue fitness. But I am a talented artist, and Instagram is more artsy in its nature, and so it drew my attention naturally. But what really did me over the edge and made really commit to it was that I was having a really hard time building my personal Facebook page, and you have a limit of 5,000 friends, and then after that, it's like, okay, now what? And if you want to build a Facebook-like page that takes money for ads, Facebook has a lockdown on that. And so I was like, I want to reach people, but I don't spend an arm and a leg. So Instagram is what I turned to because it's free. That you can do ads now, but it's not necessary. I built my entire following without paid for ads, and so I saw that opportunity, and I was like, what better opportunity to meet people that don't know me already. And it's instead of like going out and looking for people, I'm getting people to come and find me, and then they stick around, and the stuff that I post is of value to them, and then they jump on the phone with me one day, and then next thing you know, they're doing my program or whatever and reaching their goals. So that's kind of the flow of things. But I love the quickness of it. It's a different language completely. Every social media platform is a different language, and I like to think of it. So I just love that platform, and I decided to roll with it and really master it. I've spent tons of time talking to people who have a lot more followers than me, and going to seminars and doing programs online and trainings and all this stuff to learn the skills necessary to learn how to build a following and how to monetize it at the same time.
And that in itself is so valuable that you invested the time and resources instead of looking at the quick route, because you think about how many times people are going to be bombarded by the offers of, let us show you how to build your Instagram following quickly. You're going to use this software and using these little, I call them gray tactics. They're not exactly wrong, but at the same time, they're not really that great for you either.
No, totally. I have two different accounts, and one of them has almost 24,000 followers, and that one's taken me 3 years. It stagnated for a while because the platform changed. Instagram's constantly changing, so the algorithms changed, and that really did some things over for me. But then I have another channel as well, and it's reached 11,000 followers in 6 months. So it can happen fast and it can happen slow, but at the end of the day, you gotta just be diligent with it.
Right, like anything else, you have to be diligent. So tell us a little bit more about the one that you grew in 6 months, because people are looking, okay, well, 24,000 in 3 years, okay, yeah, that's cool. But then in 6 months, they're like, whoa, okay, you must have done something.
Yeah, totally.
That enabled you to get there.
Yeah, so just to plug in for my Instagram, Kevin Crenshaw Fitness is my fitness channel. That one has almost 24,000, and then Dat Peanut Butter Life, DAT Peanut Butter Life, is my second one that grew very fast. And I actually made that account for fun because I was like, anybody that knows me knows I love peanut butter. I have a weird fetish for peanut butter, and I know that I'm not the only one because I talk to people, and they're like, I don't know. I figured that there would be some Instagram page about peanut butter, and I actually looked at it one night, and there wasn't. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. And that's exactly what I did. I made a channel that just reposts people's pictures of their peanut butter recipes or what the heck ever, or peanut butter memes. And it's free shout outs for the people to my following, because they constantly tag me and stuff looking for a free shout out, right? But then it directs the link in my bio, which is the call to action for any Instagram, is directed to my other account. So I've gotten clients who found my peanut butter page, followed that for a while, and then was like, wait, who really is this guy? And then they click on the other link and it goes to my other Instagram, and they go, oh, he's into health and fitness. Cool, I need help there. And they've been able to, link up that way. So that's just another lead generation, I guess, for me, to find my niche.
Right. I'm just cracking up this notion of it's all about peanut butter. It's like, I'm going to picture like going like, okay, there's chunky peanut butter, there's creamy peanut butter, there's peanut butter crackers, there's peanut butter jelly.
Yeah. Anything peanut butter, man, it's on there. The comment section is hilarious. So if you guys get a chance to check it out, read the comments. It's hilarious.
But it shows you something there that I think is critical that you tapped into, is that people resonate not just with people themselves, but with something that they're passionate about.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, that's the thing. You got to stand out on social media, and just be yourself. That's the biggest thing. Can't be too generic. You got to have a niche. You got to know exactly what you're there to do, and show up and do it every day.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you don't show up every day, what's the point of it?
Yeah, totally. It's the same. I like to think of it, your business. For those people, I don't know the audience too well that's listening to this right now, but your fitness and your business require the same, what am I trying to say? Skills or abilities, like the whole discipline. You got to show up every day. You got to eat. You got to, be all that stuff. The laws of success are universal. What you do in your fitness, if you're a master at your fitness and you're listening to this and you want to get your business off the ground, do the same thing that you do with your health and fitness, but in your business. If you're really good at your business and you are looking to master your health and fitness, what are you doing in your business that you're not doing with your fitness? And cross the two.
Right, exactly. You have to really be focused and dedicated, because you think about it, if someone's going to lose weight or they're getting in shape, you're going to have that exact plan of what is it you're going to do on a daily basis. So here's the foods you're going to eat, here's the exercise you're going to do, but then how many people are not doing that in their business?
Totally.
They're just missing out on that opportunity where it makes all the difference in the world.
Right. And I wasn't, especially when I was homeless for that time, I wasn't showing up every day. I wasn't giving my best whenever I did show up. I wasn't studying and doing all the research, but I was mastering my physique. I was in the gym constantly. I was worrying about what I was going to eat. I was getting my sleep and my stress down and all that stuff. And I switched the focus. I realized I can spin 2 plates at once. I'm already spinning the fitness plate. Keep that going. Now focus on something else. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's great that you had that epiphany that you needed to start spinning more than one plate there. That taking care of your body is important, but if you're not putting that same emphasis on your business, then people don't know who you are. You could have the body of like Mr. Olympia, but then you just simply become another guy in the gym. And you think about how many people are in that exact same situation, regardless of the industry, where they are an expert at what they're doing, but because no one knows who they are, it doesn't matter.
That's totally true.
Yeah, it's a sad reality when you think about it, that we live in a world that it doesn't matter how much of an expert you are, it's not about that anymore. It's about how popular you are and how many people know who you are and the message you have.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to be the best, it's just that you need to be the most known.
Exactly, yeah.
So it shifts everything. So when you started to build this follow on Instagram, what did you start doing differently that allowed you to speed the process up? To go from it taking 3 years to go to 6 months. Got
it. So I knew what I was there for. In the beginning with my fitness page, I had no idea what I was doing, and I learned through a lot of trial and error and the hard way. Instead of just sitting down and going, okay, what value am I going to add? Who am I looking for? What am I? What is different and unique about me? I just kind of found it through trial and error. Whereas with that other page, I knew it was exactly what the page was going to be about, and so having that pre-framed, if you already have a business, you know exactly what you're doing, what makes you stand out, right? And then capitalize on that. Because, my fitness channel is more of breaking plateaus, pushing yourself, and it's also mindset coaching, and that's all the stuff that I touch on in the page. I also get workouts to do and stuff like that. And that's why people follow me, is because they're like, oh, I can use some of this stuff in the gym. It's useful information. I'm not just posting post-workout selfies all the time, And if I do post a picture or whatever, there's some sort of motivational piece to it, or something that they can take and use. So no matter what industry you're in, if you're working Instagram, think, what value for free can I give people? Because that's when people are going to hit that follow button, because it's going to be useful. Nobody cares that you're Pop and Joe's, I don't know, fishing business or whatever, and you're the best in the world. Why the hell should they hit that follow button?
Right. And the thing that's important is the addition of value, because there's a lot of fluff when you look at it out there. People spend so much time and energy. Look at this great picture of me or the food that I have or whatever, but then it stops there. There's nothing else. Versus if you're adding in value through the content of explaining what was the thought that was going on behind the image, things begin to change. Now people really want to follow you for what you're saying, not just by what you're showing.
Yes, for sure.
And so it makes all the difference the more we can continuously do that. So when you're looking at your Instagram, then your feed there, how often were you posting every single day? Because some people are like, oh, it's such a pain in the butt to do.
Yeah, so I post once a day, and it's different for everybody. Who are you targeting, essentially? Do you have the capacity to post more than once a day? It varies from industry to industry, from who you're looking to deal with. But I post once a day, maybe twice a day, and I post at least 7 times a day on my story through Instagram. And that's how people get to know me as a person. They see my Facebook, or my Instagram page and my feed and all that, and then they get a peek into my life, that I'm not just in the gym all the time, and you know what I mean? Like, they get to see some of this stuff. Like, for example, I've seen fitness people post about their dog, and nobody following you, a stranger following you, does not care. I'm just sorry. I know you care about your dog, but that stranger doesn't. The
Right.
post for that are meant for the story. That's for your following to get to know you better, and that's where you can build that relationship. But they don't care. Somebody who doesn't know you yet and is not following you, that's just kind of fluff. It doesn't make sense for your vibe. So, keep that in mind too. But that's about how frequently I post and all that type of stuff.
And, you hit something on the head there. It's like with the usage of the stories. The thing that a lot of people, they're looking and trying to figure out, well, how do I really use this thing? It's there, but then they don't want to clog their feed up with just random images, because you think about, if you're about fitness, why people are not going to care about your dog unless they're just seeing more behind the scenes.
Totally.
But people just want to throw up random junk. Like, people follow you for a reason. Like here's what you're about, so they're following you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to use other things so you can hold up the relationship in closer, so they want to be part of your life, instead of being like, oh, you just post random stuff and then they think, I'm out of here.
Right.
Yeah. Now, with Instagram itself, then the descriptions, do you find yourself writing longer descriptions, or do you keep them pretty short?
So Instagram, I don't remember the number of characters, but it only shows like the first line and a half when you're scrolling. So the first couple of words have got to be eye-catching if you do want to post something long. It's like, here are my 10 tips for burning fat. And then it says click to see more, so they click to see more, then they can read all the 10 tips, right? Right. So that's going to be something eye-catching and something of value, to where they're going to stop their scroll and spend a minute looking at your post, right? So it's got to be really high quality if you want to do something like that. If it's not, keep it short. If the picture speaks for itself, like maybe the picture that you post is a motivational quote, right? You can just put emojis as the caption, and that'll do, because the picture speaks for itself, right? Like, there's not always, or like you could say double tap if you agree, or tag a friend, or whatever. But a good call to action like that's always helpful, because especially if they're tagging their friends or they repost you, their whole audience sees your stuff. And so that's something that I teach people as well, how to do, is make sure that like people are reposting your content, or maybe doing your workout moves and recording it and posting it on their page, so that their whole following gets to see you, and their following trusts them. So if they know that they trust somebody else, it's just a big trust network, right?
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. And it makes sense to do it in that fashion, because I think where a lot of people miss out is that call to action. Like, you get people to tag their friends, especially if something is relevant and it makes sense to them. You think about, people love to be educated, they want the inspiration, they also want to be entertained. So if you can fit one of those roles, why not?
Totally.
And it's just something that people have to do more of. So now, when it comes to hashtags, are you using is the maximum amount that Instagram allows you to, or do you like just using random amounts each and every
It's time? Always 30.
Every single post you put up there, you're
yes, and I have a few different already pre-made, I guess you could say, Instagram hashtag brackets, or a juncture of them that are 30 in the notes on my phone. And so if I know I'm posting about motivation, I have one for that. If I know I'm posting about a workout move, I have one for that. And then I'll change a few of the hashtags here and there. Like if I'm doing squats, I may hashtag squat or whatever, to make it a little bit more applicable to what I'm doing. But that way it saves a lot of time. And you want to post those immediately after. So already have it copied. Right when your post is made, put it in the comments. Because the algorithm, how the algorithms work, you want to make sure that you're posting them at the exact same time, because when somebody searches that hashtag, it is chronologically ordered based on the time that the post is made, not when you actually hashtag that hashtag.
Right. Exactly. And that's what something I think people miss out on, the opportunity, is leveraging 30 hashtags. If you put 30 hashtags on a tweet, they're going to look at you like, what in the world are you doing?
Yeah.
But here you can do that, and it's totally normal.
Totally.
Now, when it comes to the hashtags, are you looking at the big popular ones, or are you looking at more, let's say the average ones that are not getting over, let's say, a million views on it?
Yeah, you want to do both, in my opinion, because you have 30, there's only so much you can talk a hashtag and talk about with a squat, you know what I mean? So you're going to have to do some bigger type of stuff, and it's always good to have both of them, in my opinion. So.
Well, and it does make sense, because you're going to find there's a mixture of people out there that you want to attract people in there, but you also want to be as targeted as possible about a particular topic. But just like you said, you can only use so much when talking about a squat.
Right, exactly.
Like, at the end of the day, a squat's a squat, no matter how much you want to look at it. Well, I did it this way that one time and another way. Like, okay, yeah, you just turned yourself a different direction, but it's still a squat. So, well, that makes total sense in that regards. So in your feed, are you using Instagram videos instead of the stories from time to time?
Yeah. I mean, all the workout stuff that I do is stories. Videos. And then even in the stories, I'll do videos, right? Like, I'll give tips sometimes on my story for my insiders who really watch my stuff to check out. And I call it my insider content because, again, they are insiders. They're the ones that actually pay attention, that are following me. But yeah, I post tons of videos. You want to leverage everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're not leveraging the full capacity, then what's the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now you've leveraged Instagram to grow your business. Once you made that full commitment last year, said that's it, I'm going all in. How long did it truly take you before you started noticing a significant return on your time and energy invested in the platform?
Since when I started, or when I fully committed?
When you fully committed.
Almost instantly, because I already knew what to do. I was like, you know what? I'm just focusing on building a following. I need to actually, these people want my help. They need my help. I just need something to offer. And once I did that, and it was game over. Right,
and that's important that you have that commitment, and you knew what you needed to do consistently, day in and day out, to achieve the results that you're looking for. Because so many people, they don't know that. So right now, then, when people go to your main Instagram profile and then they click on the link there, where is it that you're driving them to?
So that is the link to my program. It just talks all about it. But I actually get most of my customers and clients because they direct message me asking me for help. And then I'll help them out a little bit, whatever. Usually we end up hopping on the phone because what they're asking about is very in-depth, or it's not. I can't just give a surface answer, or I would be doing them a disservice. So a lot of people, I just get on the phone with them actually, and then go through that way. I know I am in the works of making a free course to kind of give to everybody, so that everybody can add value to anybody. And then from that free course, if they wanted to upgrade after into my program, they have that option. So that's something that I'm looking to make right now, and that's in that regard. But yeah, it's I've seen it so many different ways. It could be to somebody's website, it could be to your Facebook group, it could be to a questionnaire, it could be to your offer, right, or a freemium. At the end of the day, you do want something though in your bio to where they can kind of get to know you better, or take up one of your offers.
Right. And I think that's where people miss out on it. They're not driving them to take a specific action. It's just kind of oh, I'm here. Yeah, that's great. But that's not helping you grow your business.
Yeah.
As you want to have them go from one place to another. And that's what makes all the difference in the world.
Totally.
So now, when you decided to come yourself fully online in this capacity, what was one of those mental switches you had to make to go from personal training people in person to doing online? Because there's a lot of people in fitness that they've thought about it, but it's like, well, how in the world do you coach people in fitness online when they're used to like, they're at like spotting them at when they're doing a bench press or they're looking at their moves and such. How did you make that switch?
I hit a threshold, I guess you could say. I finally just said, you know what, enough's enough. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to constantly be in a gym. I mean, it was fun at first, and then it's like, okay, I want to live life. And so I kind of I just got sick and tired of it. I love my clients, but I needed to take care of myself. And so I wanted to figure out a way. I knew there was a way because I hadn't seen other people do it online before. So I wanted to find a way that I can get as close to personal training as possible, and that's why I made my program the way I made it. I mean, it comes with my coaching 24/7. I talk about the nutrition. I talk about anything that you can think, any question that you can think about with health and fitness, I wrote up in the program. Even the beginning of the program, the first 3 weeks, is all about building a solid foundation, because I don't know if I'm dealing with somebody who has 100 pounds to lose or somebody who's an athlete and maybe they're just hitting a plateau, but how can I break their routine and so they see results quickly and make sure they're doing things properly, right? That's the number one concern with most personal trainers is I don't want to go online because then I don't know if they're doing it right. And so I utilize a certain way, a type of training that basically makes you pay attention to it a lot more. And that's how I learned myself to be in proper form, and so I kind of teach that to people so you can be independent, because at the end of the day, personal trainers are great, but you can't rely on just them for the rest of your life to be fit. At some point you've got to learn to fly on your own, and so I'm kind of teaching a man to fish versus giving him a fish.
Right, and that's the philosophy I have when it comes to helping with their marketing, that you never want to be in that situation that you're dependent upon that person, where the trainer is someone that helps you refine what you're doing, but they can't be there for you 24/7. Like, like you're just working on your own. Like, they're not going to be watching, like, okay, making sure that you extend all the way. Well, they're not going to be there for you, but you have to teach people those fundamentals. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what they're doing with the trainer because they still have the wrong habits.
Totally.
But you look at how many people do that consistently. They haven't broken through that. It's gets them going, but at the end of the day, let's say someone's training for a marathon. They're the ones running the marathon. They're not going to have their trainer like jogging along like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. Although that'd be comical to see.
Very much so, yeah.
But you know what I mean by that? It's just we have to have this shift in becoming self-reliant when we go through training to be able to implement on our own, and then having someone along just to give us those little pointers, like here's another way of doing it and how they'll break through those plateaus. Because you think about your program, it gets people to break through those plateaus, but regardless, they still have to show up and do the work themselves every single day. So when it comes to teaching fitness online, what has been one of those challenges that you've had to overcome in the process?
I would say the biggest thing is, I mean, having a personal trainer is a huge plus, because you commit to a time, you're there no matter what, because you feel bad if you don't show up because you're utilizing somebody else's time. It's building the consistency, because it's all 100% up to you, and so that's why I included in my program as a mindset piece, so that you can make that shift in your head to where you say enough is enough. I'm not living another second like this. I'm changing my life. This is it. This is how I'm going to get out of this. It's not just something that you're going to blow your money on and then it's not going to be one of those other programs that you tried, right? Like, you're going to follow through with it, and that's why I've had a 100% success rate from everybody who's started on my program, is because of that mindset piece. But that is still a hurdle. People come to me that I'm coaching, and they're like, okay, I didn't work out the past 4 days, and it still happens, but they get back up and they finish. And it's because I help you to make that mindset shift to where it's not a should, it's a must.
Right, and I think that's so important. You start with mindset, because you think about the number of people that they have the wrong mindset in place, and so they don't have the right blueprint before they do anything, so they just keep on going. You think about the people who are overweight. As long as they still visualize themselves in the mirror as that overweight person, it doesn't matter what they do, they're still going to be that person.
Yeah.
So they're just going to keep bouncing back. It doesn't matter if they're doing all the right things, but then next thing you know, they're eating the Twinkies, the Ho-Hos, and binge eating all the peanut butter in the world, and they return back to their old selves.
Yeah, and that's what I help you do, is to change that identity, because I've done it in my own life. So.
Yeah, So now, how did you change that identity? Because it's different when they're talking about it from the theory standpoint, like, well, this is how it works versus, well, this is what happened to me.
Right, yeah, totally. So I was 100 pounds, skin and bones, 7 years ago, severely heavily medicated for ADD, ADHD, sleep apnea. I had allergies and asthma. I was depressed and suicidal, crippled with shyness, and that's just how I lived my life. I didn't know anything else, and I was very sick all the time. And I just accepted that until I hit a threshold. Some things happened, and that's what I teach in my program is how do you hit that threshold where you say, fuck it, enough is enough. And right. I've done that both in my own health, and I did that in my health and fitness and haven't looked back. I haven't taken a pill for anything in 6.5 years. This is my career now, so it's like I've competed in physique shows, completely changed my identity in that. And I'm doing the same right now in my career, especially this year, 2017, because I do have my own business now. I've made that shift in my head, and I've raised my standards for myself. So again, I teach that stuff in my program on how to make that shift. It's a process, because it's more like a workshop. It's not just like, oh, this is how you do it. It's like, okay, pause the video, write this stuff down. And it gets emotional because you have to add emotion to it. If you're just thinking logically in your business or with your fitness, it's never going to happen. I'm sorry. You've got to push past your limits, and the only way to push past your limits is to add emotion to it. So think of it this way: if you just do enough, like whatever that enough is, or you do until you're tired, that's your current standard for yourself. If you want to change your life, you've got to raise your standards. So you've got to go beyond when you're tired or when it's just enough. So whether it's that extra rep, whether it's more weights, whether it's more sales calls, you've got to be able to go that extra mile, and that is all emotion. And then you have a new standard, so you can get up tomorrow and go, damn, I just did that. Let me do it again. And then you get to that threshold, and you get almost addicted to that push.
And that is spot on, because I think that's where so many people, they find themselves getting stuck at, is because you go through that life day to day, just as in the past where you hit that threshold. You're like, you've got to change the outcome of your life, that you didn't want to walk around being medicated. You didn't want to walk around like where if there's a severe windstorm, you're going to end up in Kansas because you got blown there or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you wanted to make those changes, and you had to take that consistent daily action. It wasn't just like you woke up one morning and went to the gym one time and it's like, ta-da, there it was. Exactly. It took consistent work in terms of the diet, your mindset, and the exercises that you went through day in and day out to achieve the results that you have.
Right. And this is the artist in me, and this is something that I tell a lot of my clients, and so I'll share with everybody listening. But you want to think of your day and your life like a blank canvas. Because, and this is again the artist in me, you can create whatever the hell you want. I fucking built myself from nothing. Because I saw my life like a blank canvas. Your canvas is not going to be blank, though, if you are holding on to grudges from the past or anything from the past. It's going to have splotches and rips and tears. You've got to look at the future and the opportunity that right now has to create the future. The past, it does not mean anything, and you've really got to know that. And once you can identify and say, you know what, today, like when you wake up in the morning, what the hell am I going to create on this blank canvas of today, and how is that going to piece together in the puzzle of all the canvases for my life or this month or this year, right? And if you want it to be truly magnificent, you can. It's a matter of creating in the moment and seeing that opportunity to create. And I believe everybody is artistically blessed, whether it be with gadgets and gadgets and with your hands, or in poetry, or in music, or with art, or with theater. We are gifted to create, and so look at your life in the same way.
And that is powerful, because so many times people discount the abilities they have in themselves, and so many times you have to go on this path of self-discovery to realize what it is. Because if someone's told that they're not good at something their whole life, then that becomes their blueprint. They have to erase that blueprint and start with that blank canvas, and then build from anew. Otherwise, you're operating off of someone else's belief systems, and that does not serve anybody.
No, exactly. And let's say that you want to make a painting that is a sun. So you're thinking vibrant reds, yellows, maybe some blues in there over an ocean, what have you. And somebody comes in and tells you, oh no, you can only use black and white. You were not supposed to use color. But you're not getting graded on this. You're making your own freaking painting. You're not going to listen to them. You're like, why are you telling me to paint in black and white? I want to do what I want to do, right? But with our life, right, when they say, oh no, you're not supposed to do that, we listen to them, and we look at what they're painting, and it's shit, but we still listen to them. When you know you can do so much better, do what you want to do.
Right, exactly. You have to listen to yourself and just do it, because we operate in this world of these pre-existing paradigms where people say what you can and cannot do. No one has the right to tell another person that, short of saying jumping out of an airplane without a parachute is probably not the best interest of making it to the ground safely. Yeah. Or racing with bears, probably not a good idea as well. But otherwise, do what's going to make you happy and makes sense.
Yes, totally.
Because that's how you start fulfilling yourself versus walking around as an empty half shell, which is what happens to a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. For sure.
That changes, especially because when you're involved in the entrepreneurial world, you're building a business for yourself, you're striking on your own. There's not a set handbook that says this is the way that you must build your business.
Exactly.
There's guidelines and suggestions, but ultimately you're the one who wakes up every single morning and have to look in the mirror and say, and what am I going to do today that's going to take me one step closer to my goal?
Yep, for sure. It's that blank canvas. Create it whatever the heck you want and have fun with it. That's my philosophy.
Right, because if you're not having fun doing it, what's the point? That's what makes a difference in the world. So right now, when you look at everything you're doing to promoting yourself online and your fitness clients, what's the next big thing that you have coming up that it's going to really transform how people look at training?
In terms of my own business, or? Yes.
Oh, yes.
So I think it's going to be the adding massive value piece, right? I'm going to be doing so much for free. It's going to be stupid. I'm almost going to guilt people into coaching through me because I've helped them out so much, right? It's that. I think my program is very revolutionary, and it really just recently launched only 5 weeks ago. And so it's, like I said, it's exploded. And people are seeing really crazy results really fast. And I think it's just because of the structure of it. Not one size fits all, and that's not how it's made. It's very custom. So I believe very much that, and that I'm doing different things. I'm not just doing my health and fitness coaching through my Instagram. I'm doing that peanut butter page, right? That's going to monetize one day into an ebook to sell. Then there's going to be I'm making right now actually an Instagram training course for people to learn how to build a following and monetize it, right? So I'm doing so many different things, I'm hitting so many different targets. I think that's what's going to benefit me in the long run, because if somebody finds me through my fitness stuff and they follow me because they think it's cool, but they don't need help there, but then they find out that he does Instagram training, I want to get into this, right? That I can still help people. So it's utilizing every bit of myself that I can to help as many people as possible, and not really just hold back on one thing.
Right. That's the best way to do it. It's you create those different influxes of clients, because you never know how you can be able to help somebody, because that one thing you say to somebody might make all the difference in their lives, and that ultimately enables you to help that many more people that you would never be able to do yourself directly.
Exactly.
So it changes so much. So one of the things I always like to ask of all my guests is about one thing that people can start doing today to make all the difference. So for you, Kevin, what's one thing that people can begin doing? Let's make it two things, because we're talking about fitness and also Instagram. So the first one be, what's one thing that people can do to really start growing their following on Instagram? And the other would be what people can start doing to transform their bodies into what they are capable of, not just what they were told they could do.
For both of them, you've got to look yourself in the mirror, stop worrying about what your friends are doing or have, and you've got to work. Stop looking around on Instagram at other people's fitness stuff and actually work out. Stop looking around at other people's businesses and reading all about them and actually build your business. You've got to look in the mirror, and it's hard when you know you're not where you want to be. But when you apply that pain and that pressure to your pain point, you can either throw a pity party, which is not fun because nobody brings presents and nobody shows up, or you're going to work your ass off and you're going to make a change and you're going to raise your standard and you're ultimately going to get that thing that you want. You're going to bridge that gap. And so my advice for you, whether it's fitness, whether it's Instagram, look yourself in the mirror, stop looking around, and actually do the work. Use the pain, use the emotions to drive you forward, because that's how I've done it in my life.
And that's important, because most of the time as individuals, we are more motivated by moving away from pain than moving towards pleasure. Because no one wants to be in that situation. When you think about the times when you were homeless, those things, you didn't want to go back to that. So everything you did was to make sure that scenario did not happen again.
Yeah, totally.
And it's not like there's very many people going, oh, I just love to work out because I like cake. It's usually you want to avoid the opposite. Like, you don't want to turn into the person that looks like they just eat cake.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's all about that. Well, Kevin, I want to thank you for coming onto the podcast today. And how can people learn more about you and also what you offer?
Yeah, totally. So again, Kevin Crenshaw Fitness on Instagram, or DAT Peanut Butter Life, DAT Peanut Butter Life. You can also find me on Facebook, Kevin Crenshaw. You'll know it's me. Or you can go to forcefulfire.com to figure out more about my program. And if you want to know more about the Instagram training that I'm doing as well, right now I don't have a website for it. So message me on any of the social media pages. Let me know that you came from the podcast, and I'd be more than happy to help out or answer any questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again for coming into the podcast today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.